pressing record. I'm going to mute everybody, and as always, please feel free to adapt, adjust, use whatever blocks, here's Angie, use whatever props you need to. So if you do like to have your blocks or whatever, have them handy. And good evening, Ange. We'll come into child's pose to start, and I'll just keep an eye because I think Sarah is going to appear. But we'll come to a child's pose. So your version of child's pose, you might want to take the knees wide tonight. You might prefer to have them closer together. Just see how your body feels tonight. There she is. Hi, Sarah. Hi, hopefully you're in. You can hear me. It takes a minute to settle down, doesn't it, Zoom? Sorry, I'm just giving Sarah a sec. Okay, so good evening. Okay, let me just mute you. We're in a child's pose, Sarah. We're starting in a child's pose tonight. So your version of child's pose, and every day we feel different, don't we? And I say this a lot, different day, different body. So sometimes it's nice to have the knees wide in child's pose. Other times it's nice to have the knees together and have the arms coming back. So try a couple of variations or somewhere in between those two as well. And just see how your body feels tonight. Which version of child's pose do you need to be in? Do you want to have the arms forward? Do you want them back by your side? See how everything feels, and then just take a moment to wriggle around and settle into your child's pose. So sometimes you want to just wriggle the hips about a little bit. You might want to just adjust the position of the arms so that you can really begin to relax into the shoulders. Forehead hopefully coming down to the mat. You can always use a block to support your head as well if you want to. And then let your awareness settle onto your inhales and your exhales. And we'll just start to begin to breathe in and out through the nose. Just starting to let go of your day, of any worries you have, anything that is bothering you, anything that you're holding on to, just start to let it go. And for the next hour, it's your time, isn't it? It's your time just to be in your body and to leave everything else aside. Start to draw the inhales in deeper, and then press the exhales out for longer. Start to really expand into the back body as well. So when we're in a child's pose, it makes us breathe more into the back ribs, doesn't it? So really begin to exaggerate that, expand as much as you can into the back ribs, the back body, right down into the low back, between your shoulder blades as well, expand. And with the exhale, soften, relax, let go of tension. Make sure that the shoulders are relaxed, your low back is soft, soften your jaw, and your abdomen as well, relax. Okay, just about another 2 breaths. And then we'll inhale, come up to all fours. And just come straight into a couple of cat-cows. So stack the joints, knees beneath the hips, wrists below the shoulders. Inhale, tummy drops down, chin lifts, sit bones tilt, and then exhaling to come back the other way. And you can keep your eyes closed if it feels appropriate to do that when we move through cat-cow. And it just helps you to really focus on the sensation that way, doesn't it? You might want to start to soften the elbows. You could begin to circle into the hips. Freestyle movement is always welcomed, encouraged. Anything that your body needs you to do. Sometimes it's nice just to come back and forth a little bit, isn't it? Starting to move into the tight areas. Maybe you want to sway a little bit from side to side. Just making sure that you're maintaining a nice even quality with the breath, whatever it is that we're doing. Okay, we'll find our way back to neutral. And then on an inhale, take the right arm up to the side as high as you can. And then as we exhale, we're going to tuck the right arm under the left, come down onto the outside of the right shoulder, down onto the right side of the face. And then we're going to take the left leg straight out on a line from the right knee. So it's not like the standard thread the needle. It's another variation I'm quite fond of because it helps us to start to warm up into the back of the left leg. Try and get the whole of the sole of the left foot down. And then the left arm could reach up. You could leave it down if you want to. You could reach it up. You might take it to your low back, you might tuck the left hand around the top of the right thigh and then draw the left shoulder open and make it a deeper twist. Just focusing on a nice, deep, even breath here, whatever variation of this you've come into. So it's a nice stretch for the right shoulder, back of the left leg as well. Notice where it is you feel this the most. It's a nice twist as well for the thoracic spine. I love this pose. And if you're like me, you might be feeling quite sore after the last few weeks. So it's nice just to warm up gently into our sore bodies. Just taking another breath and we'll unwind. So bring the left hand down, left knee comes back, come back to all fours, and then we'll do the other side. So inhale, take the left arm up and then tucking it under, come down onto the left shoulder. And then the right leg stretches away to the side. Whole of the sole of the foot comes down. The foot's on a line with the right knee, and then you can keep the right hand down. Maybe that feels enough, or you take the right arm up. Maybe it comes to the low back. Maybe you tuck around the top of the left thigh and really draw the shoulder open, but just finding a variation that works for you. Maybe you feel this more intensely in the back of the right leg. Maybe it's the shoulder. Just notice what you feel, where you feel it. Maybe you can draw that right shoulder back a little bit more as well. Okay, on our next inhale, we'll unwind. Right hand comes down, right knee comes back. Coming back to all fours, and then we'll come straight up into our first downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, hips up and back. And then just again, moving in whatever way you want to in your downward facing dog. Sometimes it's nice just to find that stillness straight away, isn't it? Other times we feel that we need to move. So you can pedal into the legs, you can sway, you might want to come in and out of plank pose a couple of times. Do whatever feels nice. How do you need to move? How does your body feel tonight? So it's really, when we get to our first downward facing dog, we can really gauge how the body is tonight. So just notice how everything feels. Where are your tight areas? Where do you need to move? Can you soften around the base of the neck? Remember, the head and neck are relaxed in downward facing dog. Everything else, we start to think about being active. Shoulder blades begin to draw up the back. Front of the leg starts to move to the back of the leg. You're pushing the mat away with the hands. Okay, on our next inhale, we'll look forward. We can step, hop, float, tiptoe, walk, come to the front of the mat, however. Feet about hip width, outside edges of the feet parallel, and then forward bend. So knees can be soft for the first forward bend if they need to. They can be soft for all of the forward bends if they need to. Start to think about the shoulder blades drawing at the back. We'll take the hands quite wide and come into a full Uttanasana. So being on the fingertips and the thumbs, start to squeeze the fingertips and the thumbs towards each other. We draw the shoulder blades at the back and let go of the weight of the head and neck. And you might just gently nod the head yes, shake it no, and maybe you can start to straighten a little bit more into the legs, maybe not. Just again noticing how everything feels, maybe swaying a little bit here too. I want us to really start to warm up a little bit into the backs of the legs now. So take hold of the big toes, first two fingers around the big toes. Knees can be soft if they need to be here, but get that peace grip around the big toes. Inhale to lengthen the chest forward, shoulders draw away from the ears. Imagine that you have a string drawing the collarbones forward, and then exhale, folding over the legs as much as you can, and then again inhale to lift and lengthen. Imagine you're being drawn forward via the collarbone. So nice and long on the front of the torso, shoulders away from the ears, and then exhale for a forward bend. And then again, inhale to lift and lengthen. As much length as you can, front of the torso, and then exhale for a forward bend. Just holding it in this forward bend for a few breaths. Start to think about lifting up out of the big toes. The forearms move back towards the shins. And notice when you do that, that you start to broaden between the shoulder blades. Can you send your breath into that space? And then if it's appropriate, you might straighten into the legs a little bit more, but just pay attention to how it feels. Take it gently. Keep thinking about the forearms drawing back towards the shins, the spread between the shoulder blades. At the same time, the shoulder blades are moving up your back towards your back pockets. And the hips are moving up and the head is moving down. You can start to make that a little bit more intense, maybe straightening a little bit more into the legs, maybe not. And then from here, we'll inhale and halfway lift again, come up for halfway lift, and then exhale for a forward bend. Okay, release the hands, and then inhale, come all the way up, press down through the feet. Keep the arms coming out, around and up, reaching up and gazing up, and then exhaling to release the arms down. I'm going to come through some sun salutations to warm us up. So inhale, take a big circle with the arms, out, around and up, and gaze up, and then exhale, hinge forward. Knees soft if they need to be. Relax the head and neck. Inhale for your halfway lift, fingertips or hands to shins. As you exhale, bend the knees, stepping back. You can come down through the knees or chaturanga. It depends how warm you feel tonight. Inhale for a back bend, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog will take 5 breaths. 1. So straight away, front of the leg to the back of the leg. 2. Soften around the base of your neck. 3. Draw the shoulder blades up your back. 4. And 5. Inhaling to look forward. You can step, hop, float, tiptoe, walk forward, however. Chest lengthens forward when you get there. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up. Bringing the hands to touch. And then exhale and release. Okay, keep going. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come forward. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale to find your way back. You can always skip the vinyasa if you want to, or use your knees, do whatever. Inhale for your back bend of choice, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths again. 1, so straight away, connecting back to your breath. 2, can you move the shin bones back in downward facing dog? 3, can you find a little bit more length from the outer wrists all the way to the outer hips? 4. And 5, inhaling to look forward. You can step, hop, float, tiptoe, walk. Chest lengthens forward when you get there, and then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up, press down through the feet. Keep the arms coming out, around and up, gaze up, and then exhale and release. Keep going. Another one. Inhale, big circle. As we exhale, hinge forward. Let the breath trigger the movement. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale to find your way back. Use the knees, chaturanga, modify if you want to. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths again. 1, so check in that both hands do the same thing. 2, again, a little bit of extra energy at the base of the index finger, base of the thumb. 3, outer upper arms, spin them back. 4. And 5, inhaling to look forward. You can step, hop, float, or walk forward. And then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up. Bringing the hands to touch. And then exhale. Okay, just one more like that. Inhale, big circle. As we exhale, hinge forward. Inhaling for your halfway lift. Move with the breath. Exhale to find your way back. Coming down through the knees or chaturanga. Don't come too low in chaturanga. Remember, inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, 5 breaths. 1, so connecting straight back to your breath in your downward facing dog. 2. 3, can you think about Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha as well? 4. And 5, inhaling to look forward, stepping, hopping, floating, walking forward, and then exhale, forward bend. Inhaling to come up, bringing the hands to touch, and then exhale to release. Okay, on the next inhale, we'll find chair. So Utkatasana, let's make it a nice deep chair actually. Dip down, let the fingertips come to the mat, and then come to your chair pose from there so that you're not cheating. It's easy to cheat, isn't it? Keep the upper arms lifted. Try to draw the sit bones towards the backs of the knees. Make sure that the knees aren't collapsing in or drifting open. Sink a little bit deeper into your chair if you can, and a little bit deeper. Okay, from here we'll come to a twist. So inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, stay upright to twist to your right. So you really want to twist from above the waist. We're not using our arms as a lever. Press a little bit harder with the right hand to really start to draw that right shoulder back. Make sure that the weight is back in the heels, and you haven't started to let yourself tip forward. So the weight's back in the heels and the hips are sinking down. A little bit harder with the right hand again. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, turning to the left. Again, stay upright. A little bit of extra pressure with the left hand. Make sure that the knees are still doing the same thing. Weight is back to the heels and the hips are sinking down. A little bit harder. Turn a bit more from above the waist if you can. Inhaling to come back forward, and then bring the arms up. Standard chair pose. I know the legs are beginning to burn. I'm not going to hold it here for much longer. Inhale there. As we exhale, come into a forward bend. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale to step or jump back. Okay, we're coming to downward facing dog. You could come through the vinyasa or skip it if you want. Inhale for a back bend, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, take the right leg up. And then exhale, step it forward. We're going to set up for warrior one. So left foot turns out, root it down. And then inhale, comes straight up for warrior one. Sink into the front knee. Shave the outer right hip back. Palms come together, if that's okay with your shoulders, and then you draw the shoulder blades down the back. But at the same time, we're really reaching up through the fingertips. Okay, we're going to come through a bit of a flow here. And the first time round, I'm going to take it nice and slowly so that we know what we're doing and we start to get really warmed up. In warrior one, can you spin your inner left thigh out a little bit to help the knee point out over the toes? Can you stay quite heavy in the front foot so that you're really active in that front leg as well? And then the outer left heel presses back. Tailbone is heavy. Reaching up through the fingertips, really feeling that lift from the underarms as you reach up through the fingertips. Head comes right back, if that's okay with the neck. Come a little bit deeper into warrior one. Starting to feel the legs quite nicely warming up. Can you draw a line on the front of your torso from the pubic bone through the navel, through the collarbones, and then lift and lengthen even more above that line, sink deeper. Okay, taking another full breath in warrior one. So nice big inhale, nice long exhale. And then on the next inhale, we're going to turn to our left to that skater pose. So we turn straight into the front leg, turn to the left, and then the left knee bends. All of the toes are pointing to the left side of the mat. And then we let the torso sink to being at least the same level as the hips and reach your way through the fingertips. Keep the ribs drawing in. Can you widen between the shoulder blades, but also finding length out through the crown of the head. Maybe you can sink a bit lower into that left knee so you get a really nice stretch all the way at the back of the right leg. Sink lower again if you can. So the tendency here is for the ribs to start to sort of drop down. So keep everything knitting in, just like when we're in our plank pose, and then reach your way through the fingertips a little bit more. See if you can maintain this nice evenness with the breath here. And maybe you can bend a little bit deeper into that left knee. It's definitely starting to warm up into the legs. Keep reaching away through the fingertips. Okay, on our next inhale, we find crescent at the back of the mat. So rotating all the way around, and then find crescent. And take a few moments to adjust in your crescent. Make sure that you feel quite secure with your feet. Maybe you come a bit wider, making sure that you're heavy in the front foot and you're energizing back through that back heel. Outer left hip shaves back, right hip presses forward. Tailbone is heavy here as well. Knit the ribs in. Trying to just keep the breath nice and even. Well done. And a little bit deeper into crescent lunge. Okay, from here, we're going to come to warrior three. So take the weight into the front foot, hands to heart center, and then we lift the back leg up. Try to keep that outer right hip dropping down, reaching back through the right toes as much as you can. Think about drawing the navel in here as well to protect your low back. Okay, you might want to stay with warrior three. You can always make it a supported version if you want to. Or we're going to inhale and exhale, bend into both knees, tap the right knee at the back of the left calf, and then inhale, come back up to warrior three. Well done. And then tap down again, maybe. And then back to warrior three. And then tap down again, maybe. And then back to warrior three. Okay, one more inhale in warrior three. And then as we exhale, take the hands down, standing splits, or supported warrior three. Remember to press that left foot down into the mat so you're lifting up out of the left hip. Relax the head and neck, reaching up through the right big toe just as much as you can. And then inhale to lift and lengthen the chest forward. As we exhale, we'll bend into the front knee, step back, hands come down. You can go straight to downward facing dog from there, or you come through your vinyasa. Well done. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths before we do the other side. So calm your breath. 1, shoulder blades up your back. 2, can you breathe into the sides of the waist, the sides of the ribs? And 3, okay, we'll find warrior one other side. So inhale, left leg up, and then exhale, step it forward. Right foot turns out, root it down, and then inhale, find warrior one. Sink into that front knee, shave the outer left hip back, press the right hip forward, palms together, sink deeper. So being conscious of that tendency to just flare the ribs forward here as well. Tailbone is heavy. Really strong on the front of the right thigh, isn't it, warrior one? Can you rotate the inner right thigh out slightly to help your knee to point out over the toes? And then feel that lift up under the arms in your warrior one. Fingertips are reaching up to the ceiling. Maybe you can take your head back. I always find warrior one is really quite wobbly, isn't it? It's quite a balancing pose, just as much as some of the other one-legged ones. Okay, another full complete breath in our warrior one. So nice big inhale, nice big exhale. And then on the next inhale, we straighten into the front leg, turn to the right, so all the toes face the right, come into that skater pose. I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. Bring the ribs in, reach your way through the fingertips. Come as deeply as you can into that right knee, but don't let everything collapse down. Keep everything sucking in. So it should feel a nice stretch for the back of the left leg as well. Lengthen out through the crown of the head, reach your way through the fingertips. Can you maintain that nice even breath? Well done. Still smiling and breathing. Okay, and when we're ready on an inhale, we find present at the top of the mat. So again, adjust your feet, come wider, do whatever you need to. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Make sure both legs are engaged here. So heavy in the front foot to help you really energize back through that left heel, outer right hip back. Shoulder blades down, maybe you turn your gaze up there as well. Okay, so it's a little bit of a tricky transition this, but nothing that we're not used to. Inhale, coming into warrior three, left leg lifts. Hands could come out to the side to help your balance, or hands to heart center, whatever you choose. Outer left hip drops down, remember. Press into the standing foot to really lift up out of that right hip. Okay, inhale. As we exhale, we're going to bend into both knees, tap the left knee to the back of the right calf, and then inhale, come back to warrior three. Well done. And then tap down, and then come back, and then tap down, and then come back to warrior three. Okay, inhaling warrior three, exhale, standing splits, folding over the right leg, reaching up through that left big toe as high as you can. Think about pressing the right foot down into the mat so you really lift up out of that hip. Okay, inhale to lift and lengthen the chest forward, and then as we exhale, we'll soften into the front knee, reach back with the left foot, take the hands down, step back, straight to downward facing dog, or vinyasa. Well done, inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale back, downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, so calm your breath straight away. 2, can you soften a little bit more around the base of your neck? 3, 4, and 5. Okay, on the inhale, look forward, step, hop, float, or walk forward. And then once you're there, forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into chair pose. Utkatasana, sink the hips down, check that the knees are doing the same thing. Even come lower if you can in your Utkatasana, lower ribs are softening in. Gaze up at the thumbs, inhale. And then exhale and release. Okay, I hope we're all okay with that. I'm going to do it again. So inhale, find chair pose. Make sure that the knees are doing the same thing. Maybe even tap the fingertips down and then come to chair. Think about lower ribs softening in as well there. Okay, we'll do the twist here first. So inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling to lift the chest, exhale, twisting to the right. This time, elbow can hook to the outside of the left knee, and then use it to help you turn a little bit deeper. Keep drawing that left knee back though, so we haven't started to twist into the low back. Can you send the weight back more to the heels? Press a little bit harder with the right hand to draw that right shoulder back even more. Keep the breath nice and even. Okay, inhaling to center, exhaling, twisting the other side. Again, make sure the right knee doesn't jump forward. A little bit of extra pressure with the left hand. Turn your chest. Maintain an evenness with the breath. Inhaling to come back forward and then exhaling for a forward bend. Inhaling for a halfway lift. Exhale to find your way back. So straight to downward facing dog or through the vinyasa, using the knees if we need to. Inhaling for a back bend, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog. Okay, inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Setting up for warrior one. Left foot turns out, root it down, and then inhale for warrior one. Sink into it. Shave the outer right hip back. Inner left thigh turns out slightly so that it feels kinder to your knee. Tailbone is heavy. Extra weight in the front foot here, so you're really strong in the front leg as well. Palms together, reach up through the fingertips. Can you really lift from under the arms in your warrior one? Okay, inhaling to find skater to the left, bending into the left knee. Torso comes down, level with the hips. Suck the ribs in though, reach your way through the fingertips. Maybe you can bend a little bit more deeply into the left knee. Feel that nice stretch. Back of the right thigh, widen even more. Okay, inhaling, crescent lunge, back of the mat. Wobble, wobble. Some of these transitions aren't the easiest, are they? So just give yourself a bit of time to settle in. And then when we're ready, inhaling, weight into the left foot, warrior three. Okay, you can skip the dips if you want to. Otherwise, inhale, exhale, tap down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, come back up. Okay, inhaling there, exhaling, standing splits. Or supported warrior three. Lift up through the right big toe if you're in your standing split. Inhale to lift and lengthen the chest forward. And then as to exhale, bending into the front knee. Right foot comes down, step back. You can go straight to downward facing dog, or you come through your vinyasa to get there. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 3 breaths. 1, so calm your breath straight away. 2, and 3. Inhale, take the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Setting up for warrior one. Right foot turns out, root it down. Inhale, find warrior one. And then sink into it. Shave that outer left hip back. Inner right thigh turns out any amount. Just to feel a little bit nicer into your right knee. And you can always make them crescents as well. If your knees really struggle with warrior one, remember to adjust it if you need to. Maybe the head can come all the way back and you gaze up towards the thumbs. Okay, inhaling for skater to the right, so right knee bends. Dipping down as low as you can, but don't let the ribs kind of drop down. Keep everything sucking in. So just like when we're in our plank pose, come deeper into that right knee if you can. Lengthen out through the crown of the head, reach your way through the fingertips. Inhaling for crescent lunge at the front of the mat, top of the mat. Adjust it, again, give yourself a little bit of time to settle in. Shoulders down, ribs in, outer right hip shaving back. And then on the next inhale, we take the weight into the right foot, left leg lifts. So just as high as you can, your version, warrior three. Hopefully gets a little bit easier over time. Okay, inhale, exhale, dip down, or skip this if you want to. Inhale, come back up. Exhale to dip down. Inhale, come back up. Exhaling to dip down. Inhale, come back up. And then exhale, standing splits, lifting the left leg, folding over the right leg. Really good for helping us work on our flexibility standing splits. I know we've been doing quite a lot lately. It's not easy, is it? Do your best. Okay, inhale to lengthen the chest forward, and then exhale, softening into the front knee. Step back, left foot, hands down. Straight to downward facing dog or through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, straight away, calm your breath. 2, ujjayi breath as well if you can, as always. 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling to look forward, step, hop, float, tiptoe, walk. Come forward, and then exhale, forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into chair pose, Utkatasana, sink the hips down, shoulder blades down, the back gaze up. And then exhale and release. Okay, hope we're all okay with that. We're going to mix it up a little bit now, so a similar thing, but not quite the same. So, I have to grab a drink and we're quite hot after that. When you're ready, come back to chair. So inhale, Utkatasana. Check that the knees are doing the same thing. Shoulders down. Get that action. Sit bones to the backs of the knees. As much as you can, lower ribs soften in. Maybe you gaze up at the thumbs as well. Okay, inhaling Utkatasana. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale to find your way back. So straight to downward facing dog or through your vinyasa. Remember, don't come too low in chaturanga. Elbows glue right in. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, take the right leg up. And then exhale to step it forward. Turn the left foot out. Root it down. And then finding warrior one. Bending into that front knee. Squaring the hips forward just as much as you can. And we're not going to get too preoccupied with square hips here. If it feels uncomfortable in your low back, you just come as close to that as you can. Think about really lifting up from under the arms, reaching up through the fingertips. Come deeper into your warrior one. Okay, from here, inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling to lift the chest. And then as we exhale, we're going to come into a revolved side angle. So keeping the back foot down, left elbow to the outside of the right knee, and then pressing the palms together to rotate here. So if you need to make it a crescent lunge back foot, you can. But if you can keep the warrior one back foot, then we're in a revolved side angle instead. Pressing the right hand a little bit harder into the left to turn even more. Stay strong in that back leg. Can you sink into that front knee a little bit more? It's quite wobbly that, isn't it? Okay, come a little bit deeper. First round, we'll hold it a little bit longer. Come deeper if you can into that front leg. Well done. Keep turning. You can always come for the bind here if you know it and you want to do it. I'm not tonight. Okay, from here, we're going to turn to our left all the way around into that skater pose. So inhaling, straightening, turning all the way around. Left leg bends back into skater pose. So keep the ribs sucking in. Reach away through the fingertips. Maybe you can come deeper. Can you bend more deeply into that left knee? Try to keep the breath nice and even, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, we'll use an inhale to find crescent, back of the mat. Same little transition that we did before. Adjust it. Shave the outer left hip back. Press the right hip forward. Sink a little bit deeper into the front knee. And then we'll come to warrior three again. So inhaling to press into the left foot, lifting the right leg to find warrior three. At this time for warrior three, we're going to take the right hand down, lift the left arm up, come straight into revolved half moon. Well done. Keep pressing the left foot down. Just reach up as much as you can through the left fingertips, lift that right leg as high as you can. Inhale and then exhale for our lovely standing split. Fold over the left leg, reach up through the right big toe. Well done. Okay, inhale to lift and lengthen the chest forward, and then exhale to step back. You can go straight to downward facing dog, or you can come through your vinyasa. Up to you. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog will take 5 breaths. Just let the breath settle. 1, you can always drop the knees and take a break as well if you want to. 2, outer upper arms, spin them back. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, inhale, take the left leg up, exhale, step it forward, setting up for warrior 1. Right foot turns out, root it down, and then find warrior 1. Sink into the front knee, shave the outer left hip back. Shoulder blades down the back, but you're lifting up from under the arms to reach up through the fingertips. Maybe the head comes all the way back there as well. Sink deeper, inner right thigh as well, turning out just to support your knee a little bit, to point out over the toes. Okay, inhaling there, exhale, hands to heart center. We'll come into that twist, so if you want to make it a crescent lunge back foot, you can. Otherwise, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, it's a revolved side angle. So elbow to the outside of the knee, press the palms together. Stay strong in the back leg. Try not to let the hips really kick off to the left there as well. So you're sucking that outer left hip in. Pressing a little bit harder with the left hand to really turn. See if you can keep the breath nice and even. Okay, inhaling all the way around to our right to find that skater pose. So right knee bends, turn all of the toes to the right. Sink as deeply into that as you can. Ribs in. Reach your way through the fingertips, widen between the shoulder blades as well. Can you find a bit more length out through the crown of the head here too? Okay, inhaling for crescent, top of the mat. Well done. Wobble, wobble, take your time to adjust, sink deeper, energize back through that left heel. Remember, back knee can be soft to help you to stay really heavy with the tailbone. Okay, from here we'll find warrior 3. So inhaling to take the weight into the right leg, lifting the left leg up, warrior 3. From here we'll come straight to revolved half moon. So left hand comes down, whoops, right arm reaches up. Keep pressing the right foot down into the mat to really help you lift up out of that hip. Left leg as high as you can, right fingertips up to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, standing splits. Well done. If you can still lift your leg, keep lifting up through the left big toe. Keep lifting up out of that right hip as well. And then inhale to lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, bend into the front knee, reach back with the left foot, hands down, step back, straight to downward facing dog or through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. Well done. 1. So I don't know about you, but I'm boiling hot now. 2, calm your breath. 3, remember to press the mat away with the hands. 4, and 5. Inhaling to look forward, step, hop, float, walk forward, and then exhale to forward bend. Inhale, come straight up into chair pose, Utkatasana, sink the hips down, gaze up, and then exhale and release. Okay, we're all still good. We're going to go through that little sequence one more time, and then we'll slow it down a little bit. Okay, so when you're ready, inhale, Utkatasana. Sit bones to the backs of the knees, shoulders down, gazing up to the thumbs if you can. Remember, skip the vinyasas as well if you're finding it really intense. Inhale, exhale, forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, getting yourself to downward facing dog however we want. Using the knees, skip it all together. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Warrior 1. Back foot, and then inhale, come up for warrior 1, sink into it. So checking the details, make sure that the back knee feels okay. Squaring the hips and shoulders forward just as much as you can. Not any discomfort in our low back at all. Okay, we're setting up for that twist. Remember, you can make it a crescent twist if you want to with the back foot. Inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhaling to lift the chest, exhale for your revolved side angle or revolved crescent, your choice. stay strong in the back foot, whatever it is you're doing. Press harder with the right hand to draw that right shoulder back. Can you keep the breath nice and even? Okay, inhaling to turn all the way around to the left to skater. Left knee bends, arms out, ribs in. Widen between the shoulder blades, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Okay, inhale, crescent lunge, back of the mat. Take your time and adjust it. I think I'm lucky to have a hardwood floor. If you've got on a carpet as well at home, even more challenging. Okay, on the next inhale, we find warrior three. So take the arms out to the side if you need to, do whatever version you need to do. And then we'll find revolved half moon. So right fingertips down, left arm up. Lift the back leg, lift up out that left hip as well. Turn your chest as much as you can. Inhale and then exhale, standing splits or supported warrior three. Reach up through the right big toe if you're in your standing splits. And then inhale to lift and lengthen the chest forward. As you exhale, find your way back to downward facing dog, however you want to get there. So using the knees, whatever. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Take 5 breaths. 1, calming your breath straight away. 2, shoulder blades up your back. 3, pressing the shin bones back as well in downward facing dog. 4 and 5. Inhale, take the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Right foot turns out, root it down, and then inhale, warrior one, and then sink into it. Outer left hip back, right hip forward. Tailbone is heavy, inner right thigh, turning it out slightly just to feel a little bit nicer for that right knee. Fingertips up to the ceiling. Okay, inhale, exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the chest, exhale for the twist. Adjust the back foot if you need to. So you can make it your crescent twist if you want to. Remember to keep that outer left hip sucking in. Should have said that on the other side. Left hand presses into the right hand. So you can really draw that shoulder back. Okay, on an inhale, we'll find skater all the way around to the right. Right knee bends. Keep the ribs sucking in. Broaden between the shoulder blades. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. And then inhale, crescent lunge, top of the mat. Tricky little transition, so take your time. Adjust your feet, make sure that you feel stable there. Okay, from here, we're coming to our warrior three. So inhale, take the weight into the right foot, and the left leg lifts. It's always harder on one side. Do whatever arm position helps you. You can even make it a supported version if you want to. Try and drop the outer left hip down. Okay, inhaling and then left fingertips down, right arm up, revolved half moon. Easy peasy, not. Probably one of the hardest balances that, isn't it? Okay, inhale there. Exhale, folding over the right leg. Lifting the left leg as high as you can. And then inhale to lift the chest, exhale to step back, go straight to downward facing dog, or come through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra, and then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, calm your breath straight away. 2, lengthening sides of the waist, sides of the ribs. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from here, this time, inhale, take the right leg up, and then bend the knee and open the hips to the right. So just come into that lovely hip opening stretch. The right shoulder's drawing down. You're reaching up through the right knee as high as you can, flexing the right foot. And imagine you're pressing it towards an imaginary wall on your left-hand side. So you're really opening out across the front of the groin. Okay, inhaling there. As we exhale, we'll come back to 3-legged dog. So keep the right leg up. And then from there, we're going to come forward to a 3-point plank. You could drop the left knee here if you want to, or we're going to come straight to the outside of the left foot. You can bring the right leg down, maybe you can keep it up. We're coming to a side plank, and you can stack the feet or stagger the feet. Use the lower knees if you want to. Back of the left shoulder blade pins into the upper back, and you reach up through the right fingertips. Right hip lifts up as well in your side plank. Okay, from here we're going to bend the right knee, hug it in, look to the left hand, and then step the right foot forward. Okay, that little move I know some of us are familiar with, others of us aren't, so get there however you can. From there, we're going to drop the left knee, heel toe the right foot over to the right, and come into a lizard lunge, so that both arms come on the inside of the right foot. You might stay up here on the hands like this. You might come down onto your elbows. So find a variation that you're comfortable with, and then settle in here just for a few breaths. Let everything settle back down. Well done. Remember in this pose that we want to think about the energy with the chest moving forward. So we're not just collapsing down, as tempting as it is here, especially after quite a dynamic practice like that. Keep thinking about the chest lengthening forward. Okay, if you wanted to here, you could come into the twisted version. So you can come onto the outside of the right foot. You might take the right hand to the inside of the right knee and turn the chest. You might even reach the right arm up. You might trail it down the back of the left thigh. So again, find a little version of this that feels nice for you. Try not to sink into that left elbow as well. So if you're on the hand, keep pushing it down. So you're lifting up out of that shoulder, not collapsing into it. Well done. Okay, if you come into the twist, we're going to unwind. If you're down on the elbows, come back up. And then optional extra, if you wanted to stretch the quads as well, you could bend the left knee and see if you can reach back for that left foot, or you can stay in the other variation. We can work towards this. This is another stretch that used to feel really intense for me, and now it's not so bad. So you can always work towards it. Don't sink into the left shoulder though, whatever you do. Okay, taking another breath wherever we are, and we'll unwind. We'll bring the hands down. We'll step back to a plank. You could go straight to downward facing dog, or you can come through another vinyasa, up to you. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhaling back, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, take the left leg up, bend the knee, open the hips to the left. So again, the left shoulder draws down. You're trying to stay equal weight in both hands, and the left knee lifts up, flexing the left foot, pressing it into an imaginary wall on the right hand side. So opening out as much as you can across the pelvis. Okay, inhale to come back to your three-legged dog, and then we shift the weight forward to a three-point plank. You can drop the right knee down here if you want to, or you come straight to the outside of the right foot, stack the feet or stagger the feet, and find your side plank. Left hip lifts up, pin the back of the right shoulder blade into the upper back. Think about the left fingertips up to the ceiling as well there. So this little move some of us are familiar with. Do your best, bending the left knee, drawing it in, look to the right hand, and then we step the foot forward. Well done if you made it there. And then we'll drop the right knee, heel toe the left foot over to the left, and come into a lizard lunge. So again, your variation, you might want to do the twisted version. You might want to come straight to the quad stretch. Do whatever. Wherever you are, we're just letting the breath settle back down a little bit. And we're not collapsing down, still keeping that little bit of integrity into the shoulders. So a little bit of pushing down to lift up, never just collapsing. Okay, coming into the twisted variation maybe. Maybe the left arm comes up, maybe you bring the hand down the back of the right thigh, open the left shoulder. And then from here it will unwind, and then maybe you find the quad stretch, maybe not. So if you're finding the quad stretch, right hand stays on the mat, left arm reaches back, taking the foot or wherever you can, or working towards it, and maybe the heel comes towards your bum. It's quite common to maybe get a bit of cramp here in your hamstring. So obviously let go if you do. Okay, taking another breath and release. We'll bring the left foot back in, take the hands down, step back, straight to a downward facing dog or Vinyasa. Inhaling for a back bend like dog or cobra. Exhaling back, downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1, so really connecting to your breath. 2, can you spin those outer upper arms back? 3, can you press the shin bones back a little bit more? 4, and 5. Okay, inhale, take the right leg up, and then exhale to step it forward. And we're coming back up to warrior 1, but just take your time, slowing it all down a little bit. Inhale, come up to warrior 1, and then sink into that front knee, shaving the outer right hip back. Heavy with the tailbone. Inner left thigh rotates out slightly. Maybe you can bring the palms together. Maybe you can lift up a little bit more through the fingertips. Okay, inhaling in warrior 1, exhaling to release the arms behind you, and then inhale and interlace the fingers. Inhale to press the hands away, open the chest, and then exhale, come forward, humble warrior. So you can cheat and lean onto the right thigh, or you bring the right shoulder on the inside of the right knee, and then press the hands away and let go of the weight of the head and neck. So notice here that the hips want to kick off to the right. You want to try and squeeze the hips in and maintain the same pelvis position that we have in our warrior 1. Inner left thigh is lifting, and you're grounding into the outer left heel. It can actually be quite nice to let go of the hands. You might want to bring the hands down here. And then you can focus a little bit more on the hip stretch. It's a little bit easier to maintain your balance. You could bring the hands down. You might even come to the elbows. But keep squeezing that outer right hip in. Stay strong in the back leg as well. Relax the head and neck. Okay, when we're ready, we're really strong in the legs to power our way all the way back up to our warrior 1. And then bend into the front knee a little bit more. Fingertips up to the ceiling. Really lift and lengthen from the underarms. Inhaling there, exhaling hands down, stepping it back straight to your downward facing dog or through your vinyasa. Up to you. Inhale for back bend and exhale back. Downward facing dog, finding warrior 1 other side, left leg up, and then step it forward. Right foot turns out. Nice and slowly, with control, warrior 1, bend into the front knee, shave that outer left hip back. Inner right thigh slightly turns out, should feel nicer with the knee. Palms together, lift from the underarms, right up to the ceiling. Sink deeper, and a bit deeper. Okay, inhale. Exhale, release the hands behind you, interlace. Inhale, push the hands away, and then come forward, humble warrior. Your version, cheat if you need to. Release the hands if you need to. There's quite a nice variation of this, I think. And then you can really focus on squeezing that outer left hip in. And you can maintain that leg position of warrior 1. Maybe the elbows come down, you can relax the head and neck there. Just trying to maintain that nice evenness with the breath. And then really strong in the legs to power our way back up to warrior 1. Nearly there, well done. Shave the outer left hip back. Gaze up towards the thumbs, inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down, step back. Straight to downward facing dog or through your final vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale back. Downward facing dog, take 5 breaths. 1. So it's focusing on really breathing in to the sides of your waist, sides of your ribs. 2. Between the shoulder blades as well, can you send the breath there? 3. 4. And 5. Okay, inhaling to look forward, step, hop, float, walk, tiptoe. And then once you're there, forward bend. Inhaling to come straight up into chair pose, Utkatasana. Okay, we'll come all the way down through chair pose now. Skip it, cheat, do whatever. Shoulder blades down and then slowly start to lower. Make sure that the knees stay doing the same thing. Take your time-ish and then find your way all the way to your bum. And we won't come into the half boat. Bring the legs straight out in front of you. Okay, take the flesh away from your sit bones. And then we'll come into Dandasana briefly, because it's a nice way to set up for Paschimottanasana, the forward bend, if we come into Dandasana first. So hands down by your hips. Sit up as tall as you can. Imagine that you've got your back against a wall. Upper arms come back. Side ribs lift. Armpit chest lifts. But the shoulder blades are drawing in and down. And then tuck your chin. Imagining that you're just trying to bring the ears back to being over your shoulders, and then lengthening up through the crown of the head. Start to ground down a little bit through the backs of the thighs, backs of the calves. You can maybe lengthen away through the heels. And it's okay to be pressing into the hands a little bit to get even more lift in the chest in Dandasana. It's not an easy pose, that, is it? Okay, so this work that we do in the legs in Dandasana, we want to be doing in our forward bend as well. So try and keep that activity with the legs. And then we'll release the hands. You can either take the hands down the shins, the ankles. You could take first your fingers around the big toes. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. And then inhale to lift the chest. And then exhale, come forward with the chest any amount. And you can do that again. Inhale to lift and find length. And then exhale, come forward with the chest any amount, and then inhale, lift and find length. And then exhale, chest forward, and then just relaxing the head and neck, relax the shoulders. So it's okay to sort of let go of the shape of the back once you've come forward from the hips. But we don't want to just be curving with the back. I know that we all know that. Release your jaw, relax your shoulders. Just let your low back soften. Just keep that little bit of work going with the backs of the legs here. Okay, and then inhale to lift your head, exhaling to release. We'll come down onto our backs. We come through the core challenge. If you're comfortable to do that, you could always do the bent knee version. It's slightly easier. So I'll leave it up to you. Reach the arms forward, inhale to find length, and then exhale, slowly come down. Keep squeezing the legs together if the legs are straight. Maybe you hover and stop in the hard bits. And then come all the way down. Bring the knees in. They say bring the knees in, give yourself a little squeeze, a little bit of a massage. Maybe you find your way to a happy baby pose. So your version again. Maybe you take the feet or the shins or the calves. And you can bring a little bit of movement in there as well. So quite a nice variation to do with happy baby is to, if you've got the feet, just bring the soles of the feet together. And that can feel quite nice. And you can sort of move a bit there as well. If you have a burning desire to take a twist, you could take a twist. Or you can stay with some happy baby variations. It's quite nice, isn't it, just to get that sort of massage across the mid-back in the happy baby. And then when we're ready, we will find Savasana. So coming to lie flat or keeping the knees bent, whatever variation you prefer. And then start to relax. Well done. Let go of the weight of your legs. Release your jaw. And soften your abdomen from the inside out. Relax deeply behind your eyes as well. And then just let go. Completely. Just for a few moments. And then just slowly beginning to bring your awareness back. Gently moving fingers and toes. Taking a nice long full inhale, having a stretch, arms up overhead, maybe interlacing fingers, having a full body stretch. You might bend up the knees, bring them into the chest, give yourself a hug, take a twist, so whatever, any move, any stretch. And then when you're ready, making your way to your right hand side. And back up to seated when you're ready. Well done. So any seated position is fine, cross legs or what, and then hands together in heart center. Just relax the shoulders, softening your facial muscles. Just noticing the whole of your body as sensation. Take a nice long full inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Namaste. Thank you. Well done. Well done. I don't think it was as bad as last Tuesday, was it? But
thanks, Caroline. Bye.
And I'll see you all very soon.
You.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Have a lovely evening. Bye. Bye.